Do you want to be in the video? Huh? Ready? Can you clap? Ready? Clap. Hi. Hey guys, it's Sarah from Just My Typewriter, and I'm here today with a very small typewriter and a very furry, needy friend. Say hello. So today I want to talk about a very new addition to my collection. This is a 1955 Smith Corona Skyriter. It is an ultra-portable typewriter. Now I, for the longest time, have been saying I wanted to add an ultra-portable typewriter to my collection. Ultra-portable typewriters are super lightweight machines. They're built for travel. And I wanted something that could be really compact to take with me because I've been really interested in traveling with a typewriter, but have not been willing to lug out a very, very large machine like a normal portable because they're just too heavy, and this guy's only 9 pounds. He's just a little bit heavier than you. Are you travel size? That's a mirror, Diamond. Stop looking at the mirror. It's not another dog. It's you. That's you. There's not another dog there, I swear. Here. So I was on a podcast for Austin Typewriter Inc. We recorded a while ago, and I was talking to them about how I had a lot of cool things in my collection. My holy grail machine was a Barbie typewriter, and I had mentioned that I had always wanted an ultra portable typewriter. I had one in mind. I wanted a Corona Zephyr, and I actually found one on Facebook Marketplace pretty locally to me. I messaged that person, and I had the worst Facebook Marketplace experience with her. She was incredibly rude, put a price on the typewriter that she wouldn't accept the offer for. I went back and forth with her a couple times over a few months, and that actually inspired my first Facebook Marketplace video on this YouTube channel. So I didn't end up getting that machine, but when I was on that podcast with them, I had mentioned this story to them, and they said, hey, we have a lot of extra Skywriters. We're just gonna send you one. So they sent me a Skyriter typewriter, and now I have an ultra portable in my collection. So what's interesting about the ultra-portable typewriters is that they kind of came into fashion around the 1930s with the Hermes company making the Hermes Rocket, the Hermes Featherweight, and the Hermes Baby. All very popular machines and all super lightweight. They were also kind of marketed as the more economical choice for people buying typewriters. They were lightweight, easy to travel with, and they were cheaper to make because they were smaller, so they could put them out for lower cost. So in the 1940s, Smith Corona actually filed a patent for a very small machine, an ultra-portable machine that they called the Corona Zephyr. Now that is the machine that I was trying to get on Facebook Marketplace and the precursor to the Skyriter. So they started those in about the 1940s, and by 1949 they actually redesigned the Corona Zephyr and came out with the Smith Corona Skyriter. So this is the Smith Corona Skyriter. They had a bunch of different series for the Skyriter. The original one is the 2Y series. They started in the 1949-1950 range. They had a brown inset logo with Smith Corona on it, and they had racing stripes that are very similar to the 5 series that Smith Corona had in their portable machines. And then by 1951, they actually changed the color of the logo to this dark green color, and they got rid of the racing stripes. The racing stripes. In 1956, they moved on to the 3Y series, which was a little bit different. They changed out the case. The original typewriter came with this metal case topper that snaps right on top, kind of like my Corsair Deluxe, which we'll talk about in a minute, for a vinyl portable carrying case, which is just more like a suitcase kind of thing where you could slip the typewriter into it. Is a little bit more fashionable, but it also added some more bulk to the machine, and they changed out the keys from this dark green color to a more white color. In about 1960, they started the 4Y series. They changed out the badge logo on the front for a more white logo that just kind of was inset on the front of the typewriter, and they started making these in England for that 4Y series. And they made these until about 1964 when they switched out this design for the Smith Corona Corsair Deluxe, which I have in my collection. So the Ultra Portables again were marketed as the cheapest version in the line and the lightest weight. The Corona Zephyr, when it came out, was marketed for $34 for the deluxe and $29 for the normal traditional version of the typewriter. This machine is from 1955. It is in the 2Y series, and I found some advertisements that had the original prices for these machines. I couldn't find the exact 1955 one, but the 1954 advertisement for the Skyriter has this listed at about $67, and the 1957 ad for the Skyriter actually has this listed as $73. So their price went up kind of drastically over time. What I found really interesting is that I had no idea that my Corsair Deluxe, the first typewriter I ever had in my collection, was actually kind of considered an ultra portable machine. To me, it's always been just a normal portable typewriter. I had no idea that it was comparable in size and weight and design to something like this Smith Corona Skyriter. I've always seen a Skyriter or some of those other Hermes machines and just thought they looked so much smaller than my Corsair Deluxe. But I actually did a size comparison on these two machines. My Smith Corona Corsair Deluxe, which is from 1968-ish, is about 9.8 pounds, and it's 12.5 inches by 12.5 inches. This Skyriter from 1955 is about 9.5 pounds, so a little bit lighter, and it is 11 inches by 12 inches, so it's just a little bit smaller. Both of these typewriters have the nice snap-on lid, which I really like about them. So the lid actually attaches to the top, which makes them really easy to travel with. You don't have to have an extra case. It's super great for storage. And that's just a really cool function of the two designs that I really like to have in my collection. So now I have an ultra portable in my collection, and it's time to do a little bit of testing on it and clean it up a little bit because Dave from Austin Typewriter Inc. told me it needed a little TLC. So I took this machine, and the first thing I did was test it. I like to go through a testing process on all of my typewriters just to know what I have to fix on them. So the great way for me to do that is to write out a pen pal letter because it's a little bit longer than a traditional let me check all the keys, and you can really get the kinks out of the machine. So I sat down and started writing a pen pal letter. One of the first things I noticed was that I needed to replace the ribbon. Now this machine is a one color machine, so you don't need a dual colored ribbon for something like this. But I had an already open We Are Memory Keepers ribbon in black and silver, and the silver doesn't really show up much, so I decided to throw that ribbon on this machine. I went ahead and re-spooled it on the original spools. Now this is an important thing to note about the ultra portable machines, and something I actually noticed on my Corsair Deluxe because I messed up the first couple times. Their spool size is a little bit smaller than your traditional replacement spool for a portable typewriter. It's a much smaller spool. And I actually broke the spool on my Corsair Deluxe one of the first times I was trying to change the ribbon on it, so I had to go out and find new ones for that machine. But if you're very careful, you can actually rewrap a totally normal replacement ribbon on the original tiny spools of this typewriter. If you're missing your spools in your ultra portable, make sure you measure it to get the right size spool because you can't just put a normal replacement ribbon in those spool sets. So I replaced the ribbon and then I sat down to type out a letter. And one of the first things I noticed was there are a few keys on this machine that are just a little bit sticky while you're typing, especially the letter V and the numerical 8 with the apostrophe above it. They're just a little bit sticky. They get stuck there at the top, and that could be a lot of things. But most of the time, it's just gunk that gets stuck in the type basket. So what I decided to do was after writing this letter, I was going to do a deep clean on this machine. I started by using the air compressor to get out all the dust from the machine, all the little extra bits that are inside of there from just being around from the 1950s. And then I took mineral spirits and a toothbrush and I cleaned out all of the letters on the type slugs and the actual place where they are in the basket of the machine. So anywhere that they lift up from their resting place. And I cleaned that out with mineral spirits and then I air compressed it. And what that does is that cleans out any gunk, any dust, any dirt, and just makes it really easy to clean out those things. And once I did that, the machine worked perfectly. So I had no issues then again with those keys. So one thing you can do is when a key gets stuck like that or it's not working like it was on this V key, you can add some mineral spirits in where these type segments are just to clean out any dirt, and hopefully that'll help make it a little bit cleaner. So I went in with a toothbrush and added some mineral spirits in where that type slug meets the basket, and I just kind of work it in there a little bit, go back and forth a couple times. I also add some underneath it. And now it's working just fine. And I'll have to clean off the platen. Obviously, you don't want mineral spirits on that. And I did the same with the 8 key. I was also having trouble with that one. So I added some mineral spirits in there. And that just cleans it right up.
So that's an easy trick to help make keys that stick work a little bit better.
Another thing I noticed was that there were places for 4 feet on the bottom of the typewriter, but this only had 2 little rubber pads, one on one side on the back and one on one side on the front in opposite positions. And it just made it really wobbly while typing, so I decided to take out the foot from the front and put it in that open back slot. So now I have 2 feet on the back of the typewriter just to anchor it a little bit more, and I have less of that wobbly problem from left to right on the machine while typing. Now, if you think that this machine looks really cute and you want to get it to maybe put in your collection, let me give you a little bit of a warning. Ultra Portables are not the heftiest machine in existence. I've talked about this on my Smith Corona Corsair Deluxe before. When I use her, she does tend to slide a little bit because she's just not very heavy to hold herself in place. So I do use the typing mat when I'm using that machine. Same goes for this typewriter, which is just a little bit lighter. It actually will move around a lot when you're typing. It's not built for hours and hours and hours of use all in one sitting. It's built to be compact, it's built to be cheap, and it's built to be travel ready. So if you're looking to type out the encyclopedia on a typewriter, I suggest getting yourself a nice heavy desk typewriter that's not going to go anywhere while you're typing. But if you're looking for a typewriter you might want to travel with, this might be a great option. It's only 9.5 pounds. It's under a foot across the board on each side, so it is pretty compact. You could very easily stick this in a backpack or use it as a carry-on, and you should have no trouble. It is, again, built for travel, so if you're going by train or plane or maybe a road trip and you want to type postcards while you're out there, an Ultra Portable might be the way to go for you. Also, if you're living in a very tiny dorm room and you want to bring a typewriter with you, this could literally fit anywhere, so that might be a great option for you. But don't expect it to type out an entire dictionary or the entire series of unfortunate events. It's just not going to happen. So that has been my experience with this 1955 Skyriter typewriter. I'm really excited to have an Ultra Portable in my collection and to figure out where it'll fit. You can have a lot more typewriters if they're all portables. They're so much easier to store, and it's just a really cool piece of history to have in my collection. So now you can go from Ultra Portable to desk to IBM's Electric 2. So if you're interested in more typewriter content, I do have some more typewriter videos on this YouTube channel, and I also have an Instagram at just.my.typewriter where you can get some more up-to-date collection updates because I'm posting over there almost every day. I want to thank you so much for watching today and remind you, you're just my typewriter. Oh, now you're sleeping. Before you were barking at your own reflection. Convenient.